where we left off. We were representing things on a number line, and I've just realized I didn't actually write down the other stuff in this chat. Okay. Okay, I'm going to have to think about it. Okay, I'm going to need you guys to take out a ruler and draw yourself a number line like we did in the last class. And I'm going to ask you guys to express this on a number line. Give me if x is greater than or equal to -2, or x is smaller than 2, and x is an element of z. I'm not going to tell you what z is. You guys need to tell me what z is. And then x is greater than or equal to 1, where x is an element of real numbers. Okay, I want you guys to express these on a number line for me. As you've drawn it, I'm going to give everybody about 2 or 3 minutes. I know you guys are still drawing your number lines as well, and then we'll discuss in just a bit. Okay, if today is your first time and you're like, what is this woman going on about? Just wait, it's all going to make sense in just a bit. If you're still confused by the time we finish this, because we're going to finish it quite quickly, we need to move on to our next sections. I need you guys to go and watch the lesson that we did on Tuesday, because it goes into this in a little bit more detail than I can now. Okay, once you are done, pop the word done in the chat for me, or you can even give me a funky emoji along with it. Remember, one emoji, guys, just one. Okay, let me know that you're done and we can start looking at the answers. Okay. Anam is already done. I can't even. We're going to have to wait for everyone else, dude. Find a way to entertain yourself while we wait for everyone else. Okay, all right. In the meantime, I'm going to fix my Z because my OCD is kicking in and it doesn't look like a Z, and I can't do it. Yeah, there we go. Excellent. Kolani is done as well. Sure, you guys are super fast. I know why. It's because you guys all took my advice and you didn't try and draw your number lines like Picasso, and you just drew a number line and now everyone's done. Excellent, guys. All right. So I wonder if there's anybody who's brave enough to put their hand up and explain to me how we're going to draw this. And Anam's just putting the rest of us to shame. He's like, mine is a work of art. I copied mine off of Google, dude. That's why mine looks like a work of art. It wouldn't look like a work of art if it wasn't number line. I copied it off of Google. Okay, does anybody want to tell us how we're going to answer x as an element of z? How is this going to look on a number line? By the way, guys, who can remind me, what does this z, this funky looking z, stand for? What does the z mean? That's it, Anam. That's it. Excellent. It's an integer. Thanks, Apiwe. That's it. These are integers. And we know that when we express integers on a number line, integers, integers, there we go. These are integers. And when we express them, we cannot use solid lines because the -1,5s and the -3,7s, they don't count. We are only looking at the numbers themselves. And what does this R here, this funky looking R here, stand for? That's it, Braden. Excellent. I think Braden knew what my next question was going to be, and he typed it in the chat before I started. Okay, good. This is going to be real numbers. That's it. Real numbers. He did. I can feel it. He had it typed out. Issa's like everything. Yes, Issa, 100%. It stands for everything, all the real numbers. Excellent. I just need to double check with you guys. Can you give me a thumbs up if you can hear and see me and see my screen? Let me know. Just give me a thumbs up if you guys can hear and see me, and if you can give me, and if you can see my screen. Thank you, Ratile. I see you, Anam, as well. Fatima. It's just that some of your cameras are frozen, and I'm a little worried if it's coming from my side or if it's coming from theirs. Okay. All right. Thanks so much, guys. Excellent. All right, we're going to continue. Hopefully everybody who's like frozen will come back to life in just a little bit. All right, now if I'm going to express my integers, guys, remember, I'm first going to look at this. What does this sign down here mean? I know that this one is less than, right? This one is less than. What does this little line here at the bottom mean? What does the line at the bottom mean, guys? That's it, Nico. It means equal to. So when I'm going to start putting these on my number line, I'm going to start at -2 because x is also equal to -2. However, on the side, there's no equal to sign. It only says that x is less than 2. So I'm going to start here at -2 and draw a dot. And I'm going to go -1 and 0 and 1. And over here, am I going to include 2 on this side of my integers? Yes or no? Tell me in the chat, guys. Yes or no? No. Good. I'm not going to include it, which means my number line needs to stop at 1. It needs to stop at 1 because on this side, we're not equal to 2. We're only less than 2. And if we're looking at integers, we need to make sure that we start at 1. Okay, or we start at the number right before it. Excellent. I hope everybody's looks like mine does. Okay, now let's look at x is greater than or equal to 1. Now I know that my x is in the real numbers, so I'm going to go to 1 and I'm going to draw a circle like that, and then I'm going to draw an arrow like that. Am I done? Am I done? What's missing, guys? Something is missing. What did I not do? Who can tell me, what did I not do here? That's it. That's it, Apiwe. That's exactly what I was hoping for. Okay, good. I need to color in my dot. Why am I coloring in my dot? Why am I coloring it in? You can tell me. You're all saying color it in. Why? Not because it's a real number. I think a P is onto it. There we go. That's it, Nazreen. It's because there's an equal to sign. Because x is equal to 1. It's equal to 1. And that's exactly why I'm going to color it in. Because x is greater than or equal to 1. So 1 is included. It's included in this. Okay. I just need to remember from you guys, thumbs up, thumbs down. Are we okay with how to represent numbers on a number line? Because I'm excellent. I'm about to rock your world a little. We're going to go back into interval notation, well, set builder notation and interval notation. We're going to be looking at that. Excellent, guys. Well done. Awesome. All right, so this is what we did on Tuesday, essentially. We looked at integers on a number line and we looked at real numbers on a number line. And then we talked about the different ways that we can actually write this, and I need to make sure that I get this 100% correct. Okay, so now if I'm looking at this, I'm going to erase this. Yeah. Okay, if I'm looking at this the way it is, if I wanted to express what I've written over there in set builder notation, there's a specific way that we do it. And I want to see if you guys can actually type it out. Let's see if you guys can type it out for me. Remember, if I want to express this in set builder notation, I'm going to go curly brackets, open curly brackets, and I'm going to go, there's a number x, and this x could be anywhere on this line here. It could be 1 or it could be any number there. There's a number x such that x needs to be greater than or equal to 1. But then I mustn't forget in what realm this thing, what realm this sits in, this x. It's in the set of real numbers, or what the set that it sits in. Anam says, ma'am, when do we draw a line with no colored circle? Anam, if there was no equals to, if there was no line there that says equals to, then I draw it with no colored in circle. Okay, the reason we color it in is because there's an equals to sign. Does that make sense? Because there's an equal to sign, I color it in. If there was no equal to sign, I would have left it as an open dot. Okay, now I've taken this and I've written it out in set builder notation. I want to see if you guys can do this for me. Can you guys replicate this in the chat for me, please? Look at your keyboard or look at your typing mouse pad thingy. See if you can remake what I've done here in your own funky way. And draw that for me or write that for me in the chat. I'm going to give you guys a minute or so. I know it's kind of difficult because you're looking for the buttons. Ma'am, my computer doesn't have a greater than or equal to. You can even use this. You can go greater than or equal to. You could do that as well. That's it, Anam. Anam, do not forget the equal to. You're right. X is greater than, what is X is greater than? What is it greater than? You need to remember that. Up here, you've given me half of it. I need the whole thing. Yes. It's greater than or equal to 1. Well done, Kolani. That looks beautiful. Tatum, I understand that the equal to sign is kind of hard to put in there. Well done, Momo. I like that one. That's a really nice one. I like how you guys are like greater than or equal to. I like it. Excellent. We can always do it that way. I know it's a little bit difficult to do it, but I hope when you're writing it down, you're writing it exactly the way that I've put it here. Okay. That's it, P-Wave. Well done. That is beautiful. Excellent, guys. Well done. So now that we're familiar with it, okay, I want us to try one of our own. So I'm going to erase this here quickly. Okay, and I'm going to put this thing over here. Yeah. And I'm going to do that. Now, I want you guys to express this in set builder notation. Now, I want you guys to remember, there will always be a curly bracket here. And there will always be, there's some number X such that. This stuff doesn't change. What changes, and the X as an element of real numbers, that won't change. This stays exactly the same. What I want is for you guys to populate this area here with what this over here is telling me. What is this over here telling me? Make that an arrow. What is this telling me? Put that in here. The way we write it looks exactly the same. The only thing that's different is that little part. What is X doing? Tell me what X is doing in the middle there. Okay, I feel like there's a bit of a lag. Braden, remember, is X greater than -2? Look at where my arrow is going. Look at where my arrow is going. A P-where, okay. A P-where says there is a number X such that X is less than or equal to. What does my dot tell me? Is there an equals to sign? What does my dot tell me? Is my dot colored in? No, it's an open dot. So what do we know about the less than or equal to? It won't be there. That's it. Q and Angel, you guys have taken a shortcut, but Tolani, well done. And Anam, that's it. That's exactly what I'm looking for. Okay, that's it. Well done, P-Way. That's it. Remember, guys, we cannot skip out on the curly brackets and the dot dots. You can't just write the thing in the middle. Okay, set builder notation is about the curly brackets and there's an X such that, all this other nitty gritty stuff, it's very important. So we need to make sure that we're adding it all in. Okay, we need to make sure that we're adding all of that in. Momo, like seriously, you are a mathematical artist. I love it. It looks beautiful. Well done. Guys, you're doing fantastic. That's it. I know that my circle is open, so I know that X is going to be less than, because all my numbers are going in that direction, all my x's are going to be less than -2. Well done. Sure, I think you guys need to just give yourselves a pat on the back, give yourselves a high five. You guys are doing amazing. Well done. Let's do one more. I think we should do one more. Okay, I'm going to draw this. Okay, I'm going to make it a little bit more difficult. Okay, I'm going to do that, and I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to connect them together, and I'm going to color this one in. Okay, now I want you guys to write this in set builder notation. I need you guys to remember the curly brackets stay. They will always be there, and there will always be an x such that, and this x, because of the way that I'm drawing it on the number line, this x will be an element of real numbers. It will be in the set of real numbers. I want you guys to show me what goes here. Okay, 2 minutes, go. Show me what you got, guys. Let me see if I can catch you out, or if you guys are just going to be too clever for me. I want to see, guys, and make sure, don't just type really quickly and just be like, nah, I got this. Make sure that everything you were about to write in here makes perfect sense. Okay. Make sure of it. I know some of you guys might be confused. Do I write a greater than or a smaller than? I'm going to show you the way that the signs need to look. Okay. And it's because of which number comes before this one. Tando Kolo says, I don't understand what XER means. Okay, Tando Kolo, if you were here with us on Tuesday, we will have learned about the R standing for all real numbers. So remember, we have things like natural numbers and whole numbers, and those are counting numbers. And then we talked about integers, and then, all of that kind of stuff. So R stands for real numbers, and that just shows that we're including all the numbers in between. Let's say, for instance, between 0 and 1, we're including 0,1 and 0,37 and 0,5422378. We're trying to make sure that whatever it is that we're using, all those real numbers in between there, they're all included. Okay, I'm seeing some of your answers. Let's have a look. All right, let's see. Pachi says -4x greater than or equal to -1. Okay, I don't think that's supposed to be a -4, but okay, I get where you were going. Kolani says that x needs to be greater than -1, but smaller than or equal to 4. That makes sense, but the way you've written it is a little funny. Also, your x as an element of real numbers is missing. Apiwe. Okay, x needs to be smaller than -1 and greater than 4. We've missed it. Just a little bit, we've missed it. Angel says -2 instead of -1. I think that might have been a typo. Let me see. Anam has switched around which one has the open dot and the one that has the colored dot. Braden, you are almost there, my dude. Kulefelo, yours is missing quite a few things as well. Lusanda, yours as well. Angel, you're almost there. Okay, we're almost there, guys. I think we're getting it. That's okay, Tokozo. I see you guys. Anam, you rock star.
Got it. Beautiful.
Anam, you rock star. That's it. You did. You fixed it. Pachu's like, yo, ma'am, heartbroken. That's okay. It's absolutely perfect. Okay, you guys are doing fantastic. And I know it's a bit confusing, especially like, ma'am, which way must the sign go? The inside, the outside? Okay, I'll show you. Okay, so I know that my x needs to sit in between these two numbers. It must sit in between. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put x right in the middle. That's what I'm going to do. But I know that my x needs to be smaller than 4. So great x or smaller than or equal to 4. So 4 is going to be the bigger number. That way. And on this side, I've got -1. And I know that between -1 and x, which one needs to be the greater number between -1 and x? The greater number needs to be x. So my mouth, or my crocodile mouth, is going to open towards x. It's going to open towards x. Okay. And that's how we know which way it needs to go. Okay, because x is that middle line in the middle. X needs to be smaller than 4, so 4 gets the open mouth because it's greater, and x needs to be greater than -1, so x is the bigger number, so it needs to open that way. Okay, give me a number out of 10. 1 being, yo, hi, ma'am, and 10 being, I see it now, ma'am, I got you, let's do another one. Give me a number, guys. Braden's like 8, I feel you. It's a bit complicated. It's like a bit confusing. Roma's at a 9. Angel at an 8 as well. 9. Tatum is 9. Anam is 9.1. Momo's 8. Goodman is at a 6. Okay, I feel you. I think we should do one more. What do you guys think? Let's do one more. Okay. Another one. Absolutely, Isa. Let's do another one. I'm going to do another one where x is also kept. Okay. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to put that there. Oh, actually, no, let's not. Let's leave it open and put it here. Remove that, and then I'm going to join them. Yo, whoa. Okay, no, guys, wait. My computer's given up on me. Hold on. That's not what I meant at all. Hold on. Let's try that again. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, there we go. I clicked a button. So there's a button on my stylus. And every time I do that, that means I don't have to like hold on to it. It'll just write everywhere. Like if you're coloring, and I did that by mistake. All right, guys, take it away. Remember, curly brackets, x, such that something, 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 and x is going to be an element of real numbers. And I'm going to give you another hint. Remember that my x sits in between these. So remember which way my mouth needs to open. Which way my mouth needs to open. Up here, remember, it's capped, okay? It's capped. So your -5 part, where's the rest of it? Give me the rest of it. Tolani, watch where your mouth for x and 3 opens up. Where does your, which one is bigger? Between x and 3, which number is going to be bigger? Which way should my mouth open? Okay, be careful. Anam says greater than or equal to. Now I'm going to ask Anam, are my dots colored in? Are my circles colored in, dude? Braden, you, rockstar, you. That's exactly what I was looking for. Well done. That's it. Apiwe, that's it. Ah, you guys are just... I feel like, you know what, if I could, you know, if we were in a classroom, I'd go around giving everybody high fives all around. High fives all around. Yeah. Excellent. Piwe, well done. Oh, you guys are just, you're making my whole night. That's it. That's what I'm looking for. I know that my X sits right in the middle. And because my dots are not colored in, there's a 3 here and there's a -5 here. 3 is the bigger number, so it must open up towards 3. And in between X and -5, X is the bigger number, so it needs to open towards X. Oh. You guys are amazing. You guys are super duper rock stars. Well done, Momo, just in time. Angel, you've taken your X and your -5 and 3, and you've swapped them around, because remember, the smaller number always has to come first. And between -5 and 3, -5 is the smaller number. Okay, and 3 is the bigger number. So we always have to write that like that. Okay, give me a thumbs up. How are we feeling about set builder notation? Because I'm about to complicate life again. Thumbs up, thumbs down. How are we feeling about this? Braden is a many thumbs up. I love this. Thanks, Zoom user. We still need your name. I think, ma'am, I am learning something. Goodman, that's exactly what we want. We want to be learning something new. And doesn't it feel so nice when you learn something new and then you get it It's like such a nice feeling. It's an awesome feeling. I love it. The best. Excellent. Thanks so much, guys. All right. Now we're going to talk about interval notation. I'm going to need, it is up here, it's the best feeling in the world. It is. Okay, we're going to be talking about set builder notation, and I'm going to erase this quickly. I'm going to draw this first one that we had. Okay, I'm going to name these. I'm going to rename these 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, the way we've written these over here, this is called set builder notation. Now we're going to learn about interval notation. Okay, so I'm going to take this first one over here, the one that says x is greater than or equal to 1, and I'm going to put it on my number line. There's 1, and I'm going to color it in because there's an equal to sign, so I know that this thing needs to go that way. Okay, so now when we write things in interval notation, we also need to learn how to write this. Okay, now instead of drawing a dot or writing a less than and equal to, we're going to use the different types of brackets. Okay, so if I have greater than or equal to, I'm going to use square brackets. And if I just have greater than, I'm going to use round brackets. If I have less than or equal to, square brackets, and if I have less than, round brackets. And I know it sounds like, Teacher Coco, what in the world are you saying? It's going to make perfect sense in just a bit. Okay, so we need to remember this. If the sign, just like how we color in the dots, if my sign is greater than or equal to, I use square brackets. And if I use just the greater to sign, the same way that I wouldn't color in my circle, if it's just greater than, I'm going to use round brackets. Okay. Braden, I'm going to explain, and we're going to look at an example in just a bit, and I'm going to show you how to use it so that it makes a little bit more sense. Okay, so if I wanted to take this drawing that I've put over here, and I want to express it in interval notation, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to write that x is an element of, and then I'm going to put 1 down, and I'm going to put a semicolon. Now I want to ask you guys, this 1 is going in that direction, all the way in that direction. Where does it stop? Where does my number stop? What is my last number if my arrow is going in that direction? What is the last number? I want to see who can remember. It's 6 on my drawing, but even my drawing has an arrow going in that direction. Where do the numbers end? That's it. There is no last number. It's infinity. Apiwe and Momo, you guys are my life, whole life, right? Infinity. It's never ending. We're going to infinity. So when we read this in interval notation, guys, how we're actually reading this is we're reading it from left to right. We're reading it from left to right. So this representation starts at 1, and that's why I put the 1 first, and it goes all the way to infinity. It's going all the way to infinity. Now, Braden, I know you were a bit confused. This is where the brackets come in. Okay. Is my dot colored in? Yes, my dot is colored in. So at 1, that tells me that this is greater than or equal to. What kind of bracket? Look over here, guys. What kind of bracket do I need to use for greater than or equal to? Square brackets or round brackets? What kind of brackets am I using? That's it. I'm using square brackets. So right next to 1, I am going to put square brackets like that. So I'm going to have square brackets 1, semicolon, infinity. Okay. Now I have to put another bracket on this other side of infinity. Quick question, guys. Am I going to put square brackets or round brackets? And be careful. If you say square, you need to tell me why. And if you say round brackets, you need to tell me why. What do you guys think? At infinity, am I going to put square brackets or am I going to put round brackets? What do you guys think? Anam says round. I'm going to take it, but you need to tell me why you say round. Round, infinity is bigger than 1. Yes, Isa, infinity is bigger than 1, but 2 is also bigger than 1. Roma says round because it can't be equal to the infinity. Okay. You're getting somewhere. Braden also says it's greater than 1, but many numbers are greater than 1. Roma, you're onto something, though. You are definitely onto something because it doesn't equal infinity. Well, infinity equals infinity, so we need to be okay, we need to be up here. It says round because it can't be equal to anything, and that is the answer I was looking for. Up here, you're absolutely 100% correct. Guys, what is infinity equal to? What is infinity equal to? We don't know what that number is. That's it. It can equal to any number. We don't know what the number is. So I can't put square brackets around a number that I can't see. I don't know what the number is. So infinity is just equal to infinity. So I can't put around a square bracket. I always put a round bracket. And I'm going to say this, guys, if you've learned anything today, if you ever see a negative infinity, or if you see an infinity, we always put round brackets. Always round brackets. Okay. Negative infinity and infinity, round brackets. Round brackets. You can forget a teeny bit. Okay, maybe don't forget anything, but if you remember anything, remember that infinity and negative infinity always have round brackets. Okay, let's look at number 2. I'm going to express number 2 on a number line. And remember what I said, guys. When we're reading this number line, we're reading it from left to right. So negative 2 says to me, x is less than negative 2. So I know I'm going to have a open, and I'm going to do that. I'm going to have an open dot, and I'm going to do that. Now, if I read this from left to right, like I'm reading a book, what's going to come first? What is the number over there? What is this number that we're talking about over here? What is the number that comes up first, guys, before negative 2? Good, Anam, infinity, but what kind of infinity? We're looking at our negative numbers. Remember, it's not just infinity. What is it going to be, guys? That's it, part 2. Negative infinity. That's it. Well done. We're looking at negative infinity. So the way we're going to write this is we're going to go x is an element of, and then I know that the first thing that's going to come up is negative infinity. And then it's going to stop at negative 2. Now let's look at the brackets. What kind of brackets come next to, like, which brackets am I going to put by negative infinity? Square or round brackets? And I mean, guys, what did I just say? That's it, Lusanda. Round brackets. Put round brackets. That's it. Yeah, round brackets. It's that simple. What kind of brackets are going to go around negative 2? Ooh, but now we need to look. Negative 2 is open. Negative 2 is open. Are we going to put square brackets or round brackets? Now, remember, guys, if it's less than or equal to, if there's an equal to sign, I put square brackets. If it's just less than, I put round brackets. That's it. You guys are getting it. So I'm going to put round brackets around the side as well. Okay, give me a thumbs up, thumbs down. Are you guys understanding how to write interval notation? Thumbs up. Thank you, Teacher Kat. Thank you. I completely forgot about that. Interval notation is only used for real numbers. Okay, and I'm getting so many thumbs up. Excellent. Okay, well done, guys. Now, I want you guys to look at number 3, and I want you to use your keypad and write out number 3. I'm going to draw the picture for you. I'm going to put the picture down for you. Let's see. Okay, there's negative 1 here, and then there's 4 because we've already done this part. I don't think it's necessary for us to go over it again, and I'm going to join these. Okay. I want you guys to use interval notation. Type it out on your computer or on your phone. Show me how we would write number 3 in interval notation. Go. Tandukolo, I want you to DM me, please, my sweetie, DM me and tell me exactly where I've lost you. Show me exactly where I've lost you. Okay, so that we can discuss it. I don't want you to get left behind. Ah, Anam, you rock star. That's it. Lusanda, you forgot the important part, the first part. Check Anam's answer. Remember what needs to come right next to it. Okay. That's it, Roma. Well done. Oh, you guys are just absolute rocks. I'm so happy. Okay, we're going to recap in just a second, Isa. That's it. Goodman, no curly brackets. Remember, when we talk about interval notation, the type of brackets you use matter. Okay. And Jenica, also be careful. Why are we using square brackets, my sweetie? Okay, think about -1. Look at what kind of dot we have at -1. Malerato, mwah. Just, oh. That's it. Well done, Piwe. That's it, Roxanne. Sure, you guys are super duper amazing. Well done. Okay, good. I know I'm gonna start here. I'm gonna go X is an element of, and then I know that it starts, I'm reading from left to right. I'm gonna start at -1 and I'm going to end at 4. And then I need to think of the brackets. Over here, I've got an open bracket. So an open circle. So I need to put square but round bracket. Oh, Lord. The brain.
You are tired. You are tired.
The English, it's not Englishing. Okay. And I almost said square brackets again. Because it's uncolored, round brackets. But this one is colored. So I need to put in square brackets. Okay. Let's try number 4. Give me the answer to number 4 in the chat, guys. Show me what it would look like in interval notation. Go. Yo, Brayden, that took you literally like 3 seconds, dude. Well done. That's it. That's what I'm looking for. It's pretty simple once you get the hang of it. So simple. That's it, Tolani. Well done, Lusanda. Yes, Roma. Okay. Tandukolo, I'm going to have a conversation with you. Please don't leave the chat. We're going to have a bit of a conversation, you and I. Okay. That's it, Anam. Well done, Jenica. And Piwe and Roxanne. Guys, do you see how easy this is? Thank you, Marlerato. This is like a piece of cake. It's a piece of cake. I know that X is going to go from -5 to 3. And did any of you notice how I didn't even give you a drawing this time and you guys still managed to get it? You guys you read it off the screen and you got it. That's it. That's exactly what I wanted. There, I know that it's not included. X is greater than -5, but not included. 3 is also not included. Look at you guys. It's too easy, my dude. Oh, guys, I'm so impressed. I'm so impressed. Give me a thumbs up, thumbs down. How are we feeling about interval notation? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Anam. It's okay. But I know you get it. I know you do. And I am so, so happy to see so many thumbs up in the chat, guys. You make my whole heart. Just my whole heart. You guys are amazing. You guys are super, super. Patu, if you are stuck, my dude, I need you to ask a question. I need you to type out a question and you and I can have a conversation. Okay, tell me where I lost you. Tell me where I lost you. Like ABCD, Goodman, that's it. Like ABCD, my dude. That's it. Okay. Guys, if you have understood the number line, if you have understood set builder notation, if you have understood interval notation, well done. You have gone through the first week and a half of grade 10 maths. You've done it. Well done. And we did it in like, what, 2 hours? Well done, guys. Well done. If you're still a bit lost, please type a question for me in the chat. Let's have a conversation. Okay. You guys are absolute rock stars. Okay. Let's complicate life a little bit more, because I know now you guys can do this. It's 3. Lucas says, ma'am, how is it 3 and not -3? Lucas, have a look here. Have a look over here. We've written 3 here. Okay, and -5. So if I had to put this on the number line, I would represent it from -5 and 3, and I would join them. Now, Lucas, remember, between -5 and 3, -5 is the smaller number, and we're reading from left to right. So -5 is going to come up. Where are we headed to? We're headed to 3. Okay, Patu, I saw your hand was up, my dude. If you need a question, if you need me to answer another question, please put your hand back up. Let's have a conversation. Yolanda says, please explain from the set builder. Okay, I can't explain the whole thing. You need to explain to me exactly where it is I lost you. Jasmine, do you have a question for me, my sweetie?
Hi, I do have a question.
Yes.
For how many marks does a question like this hold?
Whole thing, it's normally about 2 marks, but Jasmine, they're not just going to ask you to write it in set builder or interval notation. Normally what's going to happen is they're going to be teaching you graphs, and then they're going to give you this, and they're going to say, this is the x-axis. You remember when you were learning about straight line graphs?
Yeah.
Okay, they're going to say, this is the x-axis, and then they're going to ask you, where does my graph on the x-axis move? Like, does it move from -5? If it moves from -5 to 3, then this x that we're using over here actually stands for the x-axis. Okay, next time they might ask you about that straight Cartesian plane, this line, and that's the y-axis. So you'll switch out this x part for a y, and then you'll say, my y is from this part to this part. But they're going to ask you specifically either to write it in set builder notation or to write it in interval notation. Normally about 2 marks. If it's a bit more complicated, they might ask you for 3 marks. Okay.
Thanks.
Excellent question. I like that question. Lucas, I'm going to answer your question in just a second. Patu, do you want to unmute and ask your question for me?
Okay, so like, ma'am, I'm struggling with like taking it from like the set builder to the interval notation. So like I was asking if you can like have one last example of only like a set builder.
Sure. All right. Okay. So I'm going to write it in set builder notation. Okay. So I'm going to give you, if I do this, and I don't want you to go away, Patu, I want you to stay with me. Okay. I'm going to put a dot here at -4, and I'm going to color it in. Okay. And I'm going to put another dot here at 1, and I'm not going to color it in, but I'm going to include them together. I'm going to join them together. So remember, Patu, set builder notation will always look the same. Okay, I'm going to write it just below it. Otherwise, we're going to run out of space. So I'm going to open my curly brackets, right? What comes next, Patu?
X.
Good, X, and then a colon, such that, okay. Now, remember, this line over here represents my X. So I know that X is sitting in between 2 numbers. Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
So I'm going to put an X in the middle. Which 2 numbers is X sitting in between?
-4 and 1.
Okay, good. So -4 is going to come first. Do you see that -4 comes first and then 1?
Yes, ma'am.
Good. So -4 is here and then 1 is over here. And because I know that it's a solid line, I know that it's going to be an element of real numbers. Now let's talk about the sign. Okay, between 1 and X, look at where X is and look at where 1 is. Which one is going to be the bigger number?
1.
Good. So my mouth is going to open towards 1. Do you see how my mouth opens towards 1? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Why am I not saying greater than or equal to? How do I know
because
that I don't
it's not
add
colored?
Good, it's not colored, so we're not going to do this. Now let's look at -4 and 1. Let's look at -4 and 1. Between -4 and X, which one is the bigger number? Which one's going to be the bigger number?
X.
X. So my mouth is going to open towards X. But what am I missing?
The equal sign.
Exactly, the equal sign, because my dot is colored in.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Does this make sense to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, excellent. Now, let's take this and we're going to put it in interval notation. Okay, the first thing I know is I'm already going to write X as an element of. Now, I'm going to start reading from my left to my right. Which number shows up first on my left?
-4.
Good. So I'm going to write -4, semicolon, and then I know that the next number that comes up is 1.
1.
Now, let's talk about this. Is my -4 included? Is it less than or equal to? Is there an equal to there?
Yes, ma'am.
So am I going to use round or square brackets?
Square brackets.
That's it. So next to -4, I'm going to put square brackets. What about at 1?
A round bracket.
Why a round bracket?
Because there's no equal sign.
That's it, because there's no equal sign. It's that easy. That's it, Pachi, you did it. You did it. That's what it looks like. Well done.
Thank you, ma'am.
Well done. You did so well. Do we get it?
Yes, ma'am.
Excellent. Excellent. So somebody just asked me a question. They're like, ma'am, why is X bigger than 4? Look at where X is sitting. Look at where X is sitting. X is sitting at -1 or 0 or closer to 1. But here is -4 over here. Between -4 and -1, which one is the bigger number? It's going to be X, right? Because X is that way of -4. Okay, and that's why X is bigger than it. Okay, I hope that makes sense. The person who asked me that question, you can just tell me yes or no, ma'am, and then I can tell it. I'll see if I can have to explain it again. Okay. Excellent. Well done. All right, guys, I think we've got this one down. Pat, if you don't, please stay behind after this lesson and we'll have a conversation, you and I. Okay. All right. We have to continue, guys. We must. This is the last exercise we're going to do today. You guys have got 5 minutes to show me some of your grade 9 knowledge. Answer as many of these as you can. Okay. Remember, the instruction over here, the instruction that we're going to use over here is simplify. Okay. Simplify just means take away the bracket. Take away the bracket. And how do we take away the brackets? We multiply in. We multiply and then we take away the brackets. I'm going to give you guys, we've got 4 minutes now because class is going to end very soon. Okay, you've got about 4 or 5 minutes. Let me know when you are done. If you are not done, I'm going to continue anyway. Otherwise, we're going to run out of time. Okay, go. And okay, somebody says, so ma'am, is there ever going to be a scenario where X is bigger than the smaller number? No. And the reason for that is because what we're saying needs to make sense. Okay, if I say to you that X needs to be bigger than 1, which means it needs to be like 2 or 3 or 4, but I also say that X needs to be smaller than -2. This is an impossibility. It's impossible. The number can't be bigger than 1 and less than -2 at the same time. Okay, so there's no chance for us to get that kind of discrepancy. Okay, so we need to make sure we are getting that. Okay, guys, you don't have to give me the answers to all the questions. Tell me if you're done. Give me an emoji or type done or give me a thumbs up when you get the answer. X is bigger than the smaller number. No, it's not possible. Okay, so Tandukolo, whatever it is that we're writing needs to make mathematical sense. Okay. All right, guys, just give me an emoji in the chat when you're done. You don't have to write all the answers. Q is done. Thanks, Q. And Amogelang is done as well. We've got 2 more minutes if you're still busy. Thanks, Goodman. Thanks, Lusanda and Neo as well. And Tato's done. Thanks, Momo and Roxanne and Tepo. I think it's Gift, actually. Keep calling you Tepo. I forget everyone calls you Gift. Thanks, Fatima. Piwe and Jenica are done as well. You guys have got 1 minute. Thanks, Kasedi. All right, guys, that's time. All right, if you're still busy, that's fine. You can just write the questions down and then we're going to get back to them, use them for practice. But what we're really looking at here is how we need to distribute this, okay, as we go. All right, so I know that x times x, and you've all said it, x times x is x squared. A lot of you already know this, right? But we need to remember that this actually comes from a rule, guys. The rule says, I know that there's an invisible power 1 there and 1 there. And if I have the same base, if my like bases are being multiplied, I'm going to keep my base and I'm going to add my exponents. That's how I end up with 1 plus 1, x to the power of 2. Okay, and that's how we answer these questions. And I'm bringing this up specifically because we need to remember that when we get x to the power of 2, it's because we're adding these two. We've got x 1 and 1, and that gives us 2. It's very important. I'm emphasizing it because something is going to come up where we're going to need it. So remember, x times x is because there's x to the power of 1 and x to the power of 1, and that gives us x squared. Remember that. This next one is easy as well because we're just going to multiply in 5 times x, 5 times -6. Okay, 5 times x is the same. I'm going to get 5, and then I'm going to get x times x. That's x squared because they each have a power of 1 multiplied by 6, 5 times, it's not 5 times 6, guys, it is 5 times -6. That negative is very, very important. It belongs to the 6. Please do not forget this, guys. It belongs to the 6. So we need to make sure we're remembering that, because if this was -5x, then I'd have negative times negative, and that would give me a positive. So I need to remember that that negative belongs to 6. So positive 5 times -6 will give me 30, and then I've got that x staying behind on its own. Okay, this next question that we've got here is distributive. I know you guys at school call it FOIL. I don't call it FOIL. I call it top, bottom, bottom. And I don't like the phrase FOIL all that much, top, bottom, bottom. And the reason for that is because if I add something like plus 2z over here, FOIL doesn't work anymore. So that's why I call it top, bottom, bottom. But if I call it top, bottom, bottom, I can just go top, add another top, bottom, bottom. And that makes a little bit more sense to me. If your school uses FOIL, go ahead and do FOIL. I don't do FOIL. I do top, bottom, bottom. Okay. If I do the top first, 3x times 4x will give me 12x squared. 3x times -6 will give me -18x. Why? Remember, they do not have the same base. So I cannot add their exponents. They are two different things. X and Y are different. They're not the same base. Okay, 2y times 4x, that's positive 8xy minus 2 times negative says to give me a negative 12y squared. Clean that up, don't leave it there. That's going to give me 12x squared minus 10xy. This is where your understanding of integers needs to come in, minus 12y squared. Okay, give me a thumbs up if you've gotten these three correct so far. Okay, I'm getting a lot of thumbs. Okay, I've got 2 thumbs up, 3 thumbs up, 4, 5, 6 thumbs up. Excellent. That means you guys are exactly where you need to be in terms of your algebraic knowledge.